9:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. How are you? It's Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We got a lot to get to today. Plus, I want to take it back a little bit and do a bit more of like an agenda-free Friday style. So anything you want to talk about, we can talk about. 615-737-9986. That's the phone number to call. Same as the text line, 615-737-9986. Or you can hop over on YouTube. Join the most red-pilled chat in all of talk radio. That's on our YouTube page. Search for Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Find my show, which is live right now. Hit like and subscribe. It'll help me get my kids into summer camp. So appreciate it. Please do. And if you're watching us on X, hit the repost button. Every little bit helps. What do you think? Should we check in on the current state of the Democrat voter?
Sounds like a good idea to me.
Okay, I found this video, and I don't know. She doesn't sound unhinged to me. Do you think this woman sounds unhinged to you?
I fear somebody's got to do it and get it done quickly. Somebody's got to do it. And we need to set up a GoFundMe for whoever does it to make sure they have the absolute best commissary in there. Top-notch noodles. Top-notch deodorant and shampoo. And hypothetically, if you don't make it after you do it, your kids' will go to the top universities with that GoFundMe we'll set up for you. But somebody's got to do it and get it done quickly.
Ah, yes, just your average leftist TikToker calling for the assassination of Donald Trump. Nope, no big deal. No big deal. Offering to create GoFundMes and get their kids into college. This is the current state of your leftist voter who have been just driven into a frenzy by mainstream media and liberal echo chambers. I honestly feel bad for her. I mean, she totally has crazy eyes. Like, you could tell that the crazy message was about to get crazy as soon as you saw her face. But I kind of feel bad for these people. I feel like a lot of these people have been completely brainwashed by the leftist mainstream media. It's kind of sad. There's so many cases of this online. I saw another one, liberal woman. She's so upset about Elon and Trump. She's got the perfect way to protest.
Effective form of protest you have right now that you can start immediately. Put a mask back on. Stop letting them observe your face.
Okay. Put a mask back on and stop letting them observe your face. Letting us observe her face. I'll tell you what. I know you can't see the video. I don't know. It doesn't seem like we'd lose much.
And have the side benefit of better health.
Oh, this is a side benefit. Side benefit.
I think she said betterwater.com a little.
Is that what she said? Yeah, I think she meant to.
Just misspoke there.
What are they so upset about? Is it the peace? Is it trying to achieve peace? Is it the trying to get our budget and our debt under control? Is that what makes these people so angry? I know Elon and DOGE and Trump doing Trump things has just irritated them to all-time highs. But we're going to keep going. And you'll see these videos online. They will get amplified. They're definitely the loud vocal minority. But we'll persist. Trump has announced bi-weekly DOGE meetings. That's going to be awesome. He says DOGE is going to use a scalpel instead of a hatchet as they continue going through every bit of that budget, cutting waste and cutting fraud and cutting abuse. He said as the secretaries learn about it and understand the people working for them at the various departments, they can be precise as to who will remain, who will go. He was taking questions in the Oval Office yesterday, saying cabinet heads are going to be in charge of this. It's very important that we cut levels down to where they should be, but it's also important that we keep the best and most productive people. He said we're going to have these meetings every 2 weeks until that aspect of this very necessary job is done. DOGE is one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my lifetime, and they need to keep going. They need to go even harder. And for some reason, the leftist media is riling people up into a frenzy against DOGE. But when you look at the DOGE numbers, DOGE is actually very popular among the American people. It doesn't stop CNN from having guests on, like Columbia University professor Basil Smichael.
There are people who are charged with trying to find savings. So yes, it's an attack on government, but it's also an attack on this government. What I mean by that is it's an attack on this government that used to be headed by a black man. It's an attack on this government that almost elected a black woman to the highest office in the land. It's an attack on a government that has been more welcoming and more supportive of people who have come to this country in search for a better life.
He's trying to say DOGE is racist. That's what he's going with, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, I take your comments. Let me internalize them. Let me give them some deep thought. And yeah, I'm still a fan of DOGE. I don't know how to break it to you. That was very unconvincing. Yet this is what the leftist media has against DOGE and Elon Musk. And again, I wish that they would pay attention to their own network before they invite guys on like Columbia professor Basil Smirkel, because if you look at the stats, even CNN's shocked at how popular DOGE is.
This to me was one of the more shocking figures that I saw. Made me go, wait a minute, hold on one second. Whoa, Americans on Trump and Joe's efforts. Musk and DOGE should influence government spending and operations. Look at this. 54%. The majority say that he and they should. How about approve of Trump trying to cut staff at government agencies? Again, you get a majority here. 51%. So yeah, Elon Musk might not be that popular, but these cuts and the idea of spending cuts, at least within the federal government and cutting at government agencies, that actually has majority support. I was truly surprised by this, Kate, but the numbers are the numbers.
I was truly surprised by this. I was truly surprised that Americans don't want their tax dollars wasted anymore. Is that honestly surprising? It shouldn't be surprising, but these Democrats and these leftist media personalities have had their finger so far away from the pulse for so many years, it's not exactly shocking.
Well, there is a view that cuts across Democrat and Republican of people thinking that Washington is too big, bloated federal government, waste, fraud, and abuse. I mean, those are drain the swamp is what people run on over and over again. How do they feel? What do they think they're actually cutting?
Yeah, what do they think they're actually cutting? Democrats want to argue that the type of spending that Musk is cutting is mainly necessary programs, but that comes in at just 36%. The wasteful spending actually wins the plurality here at 42%, according to a recent Washington Post Ipsos poll. And I think that is the reason why you see that when it comes to Musk and DOGE, you see, in fact, the majority believe he should have some influence because they believe, the plurality believe, that he is cutting wasteful spending.
Everybody believes Elon is cutting wasteful spending. Also, Dusk and Moj, that would be a dope band name, wouldn't it?
I was thinking the same thing.
Dusk and Moj. Moj at dusk.
I love it. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
CNN. Oh, I don't know. These numbers are so shocking. The American people believe that they're cutting waste, and the American people believe this is very good. What is this? Why are we surprised by this? Why are we? This is shocking data, they say. It's shock. Are you shocked? The American people don't want their money wasted? Are you shocked and horrified? No, I'm not. And Senator John Kennedy, he had some thoughts about Elon Musk.
Most of the publicity has been on the spending cuts. And look, I'm all for them. I think Elon Musk is a rock star. The tofu crowd is mad. But, you know, when you trim fat, pigs squeal.
Yep, fact check true. Fact check true. We heard the squealing moments ago in a couple of those clips. Maybe we should put a mask on to protest. I don't know. Is that something you'd be down for? I'm not. I wasn't down for it when they said it was going to save my life. So I don't think I'm going to sign up now for a protest.
Yeah, not a fan.
Not a fan. DOGE is going to keep going. We've now learned that DOGE has decimated, get this, the Inter-American Foundation Agency. And you're probably thinking to yourself, what is the Inter-American Foundation Agency? I didn't know until yesterday. Apparently, it's just another agency that we had to have that was wasting our tax dollars. But DOGE has eliminated nearly all of the staff at the Inter-American Foundation, reducing that agency to a single Trump-appointed employee. DOGE announced the move a couple days ago, citing an executive order signed by the president that deemed the agency unnecessary. The sole remaining employee, Peter Morocco, previously oversaw cuts to foreign aid programs at USAID and the State Department. Morocco was appointed to head the agency last Friday. According to a report by The Guardian, by Monday evening, most of the agency's employees were placed on leave, effective immediately. The White House also terminated the agency's bipartisan board of directors and named Morocco as its sole board member and chairman. Trump's executive order instructed the federal government to eliminate, to the maximum extent, the functions of the Inter-American Foundation. Along with 3 other agencies, the decision has drawn criticism from Democrats and the IAF's previous board chairman. Like, color me shocked. The guy who was the chairman is upset that the agency is being shuttered because, well, he's not going to be collecting a check anymore. And Democrats are upset about it because Elon was somewhat near this when it happened. Is that right? Oh, it was Trump's idea. It was a Trump executive order. So, yeah, Democrats are upset. What is the IAF? It was established by Congress in 1969, funded community development projects in Latin America for decades. Yep. And they did such a good job that all of those communities in Latin America over the last 4 years have decided to come here. So, I mean, it must have been money well spent, right? Like, those communities must have really been built up by the Inter-American Foundation. They say, we do not consider the assignment of Peter Morocco to the role of board chairman sent via email by the IAF Chief Operating Office on February 28th to be a valid appointment as required by the IAF's enabling statute, wrote Eddie Areola, the Senate-confirmed chair of the agency's board, in a letter to White House officials, Secretaries of State Marco Rubio, and several members of Congress. I can only assume that Trump wrote an email back that said, deal with it. But this is where we're at. We're saving money left and right. Democrats completely unhinged. Again, you go back to this woman who has the world's greatest protest idea, which is just, who wouldn't want to protest like this?
Effective form of protest you have right now that you can start immediately. Put a mask back on.
I wonder if we could have a conversation with this woman who's going to put a mask back on to protest Trump and Elon and DOGE. If you said to her, okay, tell me what the Inter-American Foundation does. They'd be like, I'm not exactly sure. Like, this is exactly the problem that we have at the federal government. This is exactly why we need to cut the spending. Hey, what was the name of that DEI musical in Ireland? I don't know. It's like, what? This is exactly why we need to cut spending. How about that transgender comic book in Peru? We knew. What was the transgender comic book in Peru? We looked up the name. Do you remember what it was?
I don't, but I can see if I could pull it back up. It
was something like Super They.
That sounds right.
Right? It was Wonder Them.
Oh, goodness.
Batzer.
Batzeezer.
Batzeezer. I mean, I could probably go on for a while. What are some other pronouns that they use?
My favorite one I've heard is, I am no longer male or female. I identify as an Apache attack helicopter.
Aqua them.
That's good. Wonder they.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. This is embarrassing.
Called The Power of Education.
Oh, the power of education.
Yes.
If these kids could read, they'd be very upset. It's 9:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It is spring rebate madness happening at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. What's up? It's Chris Hand for my friends at Busy Bee. Love these guys. Honestly do. They listen all day in their work trucks, and they're heading to jobs all day long for great customers like you. And if you need Busy Bee right now, spring rebate madness, full effect. How about this? You get a mini split 17 SEER or heat pump 17 SEER, you get an $800 rebate. A heat pump 15 or 16 SEER, $500 rebate. Maybe you just need some duct sealing, some repair. You can get a $300 rebate for that. Or if you just need a tune-up on your system, a $50 rebate. And get this, Busy Bee will file the rebate for you so you don't have to. It really pays to call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And if you sign up for the Beehive Club membership today, those rebates when you get your tune-ups in spring and fall will pay for the membership itself. 10% off all repairs, front-of-the-line service, $100 annual accrued replacement credit, no overtime or holiday fees, exclusive Beehive member promotions, all for $99 per unit. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833, BusyBeeHVAC.com.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
Three Army soldiers busted by the FBI, what they're accused of doing, and what protesters were demonstrating against in Nashville yesterday. Those stories coming up at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom, 26 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, betterwater.com. What do you guys want to talk about? 615-737-9986, whether you want to text in, call in. Got a text here. Said 5141 said, "Morning, Chris. Hope you have a bad day and a horrible weekend." And then he sent a screenshot from Yahoo News, and it's like Elon's dad being like, "Elon's grandparents were Nazis." I was like, "Okay." I said, "Call in." I said, "Call in. Please call." And he said, I'm not calling into your dumb show. I could call into any of y'all's show, but you have the same opinions all day." So
I love your response.
Do you see my response?
Yeah.
I sent a GIF back. It's just Kobe Bryant shaking his head, not very impressed. And then he says, "Soft." Soft. So soft. Too soft. Malika's not soft. She's not afraid to call. Malika's got some thoughts on Trump's speech. What's up, Malika?
It's Chris. How are you, sir? Happy Friday. I'm going to be quick. It was amazing. The Democrats need to stop politicizing everything. The Democrats are horrible. They don't care about this country. God bless America and God bless Trump. Stop, Democrats. Stop politicizing everything. Stop. Thank you so much, guys.
All right, appreciate the call, Malika. Malika's quick. Malika doesn't waste any time. She gets to the point. She gets out of there. I like Malika. Anything you want to say, 615-737-9986. You see what 5141 texted back? He said he's too busy selling weed today. And then he said, "I'll tell your kids you said hi if you want, though." It's like, you're selling weed to 3-year-olds, are you? Is that what we're doing now? It's quite the career choice.
Well, yeah, he's not much of a businessman.
Quite the career
Can't convince
choice.
many people.
No. Unbelievable. This is the state of the current left. They can't call in and argue points and facts or even have a civil conversation about issues. They have to yell and scream and insult. And I'm just here minding the salt. Like you think you hurt my feelings, but like honestly, I'm laughing, and I'm laughing at you. Quite often. Call in if you want, though. 5141. We will appreciate your call. The DOGE stuff. This is what makes everybody so upset. It's DOGE, right? They were talking about this last night on CNN, and you got certain people that think DOGE makes a lot of sense. Axelrod's on the panel. Van Jones is on the panel. Scott Jennings is on the panel. And Axelrod is like, "No, hey, we got to chill." And then Van Jones is like, "They're lying about the cuts. There's no transgender mice." And then Scott Jennings says, No. There is money going out for transgender mice. In fact, CNN got busted on their own website and had to fact check themselves.
We don't really need the transgender mice, do we? I mean,
that's not even real.
It is real. I'm sorry, man. It's real.
It's not. No, listen.
Is it real or not?
Hey, hold on a second.
Did we have to say it was real or not?
No, hold
it's real.
Listen, the greatest thing in this entire clip is the silence from the other panelists. You got what is it? Which one's the host? I don't even know. I don't know them. But Axelrod is on there, and then two other ladies, and they are so silent as Van Jones digs his hole deeper and deeper.
I mean, Musk is a sheep.
How about the
That's a real thing.
No,
so, look, my point is...
listen, they weren't talking about transgender.
Don't defend the mice.
No. Listen, you don't want to talk about it? We don't talk about it. But it wasn't transgender. It was a different term that was misinterpreted as transgender. They were actually doing basic medical experiments on mice to figure out.
Don't spoil a good troll.
It's just not true.
Jennings is having a good troll. Don't spoil it.
Here's the point. They have found some things.
Yes.
And the greatest public relations advice I could give them is this. You found stuff. Yeah. You're going to find more stuff. And there's going to come a point where you could take this to the Congress and have a really good hearing and a really good public display. That is the next iteration.
For the record, this is not a new thing.
And I would also have some advice for the Democrats. Stop pushing back against this. Even Democrats don't want money being spent on transgender mice. It's 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It is now 9:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. We're still working it this morning. That crash scene on I-40 westbound at Old Hickory Boulevard East. It's still stop and go from Mount Juliet up to that spot this morning, and the crews are still working to remove two tractor trailers. The right shoulder remains blocked. Arrest last night of two active duty service members and a third former military member on accusations they conspired to spy for China. The Justice Department says Army soldiers Jian Zhao and Li Tian are based at Joint Base Lewis McChord in Washington State. Now, at a news conference last night, FBI Special Agent Mike Harrington said there's reason to believe some of this data is top secret.
Identifies the United States military's capabilities, plans and intentions, and could really put us at a severe disadvantage if that were to fall in the wrong hands.
And he said their actions demonstrate the pervasive nature of the threat from China to our national security. President Trump has already said Social Security benefits would not be cut in his effort to scale back the federal government. That didn't stop a group of protesters in Nashville yesterday.
No closures, no rest.
Social Security Administration Commissioner Leland Dudek did say that there are plans to cut 7,000 jobs, close regional hubs, and field offices, too. The Department of Government Efficiency is reviewing leases, including Nashville's 4,000-square-foot office. A man who was once an Olympic athlete is now on the FBI's most wanted list.
Agents announcing former Canadian snowboarder Ryan Wedding is now on the 10 most wanted list. Agents claiming Wedding is the head of a deadly drug smuggling ring, funneling thousands of kilos of cocaine into the U.S. each year. Police say Wedding, who uses the alias El Jefe, is the mastermind of a widespread operation trafficking drugs across the Americas, allegedly behind multiple murders.
ABC's Rhiannon Alley reporting. That's the latest news. We've got your weather just ahead. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
37 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I mentioned at the beginning of the show I want to do some agenda-free Friday. I think we'll do it at the bottom of the hours. You know, we used to do this every single Friday where I didn't prep anything, and I just let you guys kind of take the show where you want to take it. And we used to have a lot of fun with this, and I kind of want to get back to it. Agenda-free Friday. What do you want to talk about? 615-737-9986. Bobby in Nashville wants to talk about tax cuts. What's up, Bobby?
Hey, brother, I appreciate everything you guys do. I'll say it every time I call in, but here's a good one for you, man. These tax cuts, I mean, nobody's really checked into this, but, you know, you got people that come over here to this country, and they get by with the tax cuts for 7 years. And this is a known and truthful thing. Then they flip it over another 7 years into a wife. Like first it's the husband, and I'm referring to buying these the hotels and everything. They get a tax break for 7 years. They flipped it over after 7 years into the wife's name. Then it goes into the child's name. So you're looking at 21 years of tax-free money, but they reap the benefits off of the tax breaks. They get to claim everything, get all the money back. But here's my gripe, man. I haven't heard a word about anything to help the veterans. All this money that they've stolen has went to all this crazy stuff. Why hasn't? Can you imagine if that money would have went to help the veterans out?
Oh yeah.
You know, I'm like this, man, and I'm not going to keep too much more of your time. A man, lady goes over there and fights for our country, suits up, signs the paperwork. When they come back and they're dismembered, hey, they're front of the line.
Yeah, red carpet, absolutely.
Red carpet, man.
Yep.
Free house, the whole 9
Yep.
yards. And that's something that everybody needs to get together on.
Yep.
And that's what we need to start checking into. Bro.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that shouldn't be a left or right issue, Bobby. And I will say this though, things you can say you haven't heard, what benefits they're getting extra for the veterans with all the money that's going to be saved. But I think you can make the argument that things are improving for veterans just from the simple fact that with Donald Trump and this administration heading up the VA, we don't have illegal aliens in line cutting our veterans any longer. So I do think you can make the argument that it is going to be getting better. Matt in Fairview wants to talk about inflation and Ukraine. Slava Ukraine. What's up? What's up, Matt?
Yeah, bud. You're doing an awesome job. Thanks for that. Let me just tell you, I have not heard Democrats in the last 4 years bring up grocery prices as much as they have in the last month and a half. It's amazing. Finally they're realizing that egg prices are high.
Well, the funny thing is they're only really bringing up egg prices. If you look at hard data on a few items, you can make the argument that prices are actually currently coming down. And the only one that's really skyrocketing are the eggs, and that was like right before Biden left office. He said, we're going to kill all those chickens. And that's what we got,
Yeah, it's disastrous. But you got to get your crack staff over there to pull up the tape where Biden on national TV stood up and said that Russia going into Ukraine was just a small incursion, just a minor incursion. Here we are 4 years later, bud. But find that tape and play that every day.
Yeah, Biden said it's a minor incursion. I actually have it right here.
So I think what you're going to see is that Russia will be held accountable if it invades. And it depends on what it does. It's one thing if it's a minor incursion and then we end up having a fight about what to do and not do, et cetera.
One thing if it's a minor incursion. Yeah. 3 years, over 1 million people lost later. Yeah, it's time for peace. Trump will get it done. Bill in Hendersonville wants to talk about that joint session of Congress. What was that, Tuesday night? What's up, Bill?
Yes. Just want to express thank you for all you guys do, and just want to express what my thoughts are on these Dems and these people that just despise everything that's good and decent and wholesome. I was going to read a book that was 2 Timothy chapter 3, and it says, "But know this, that in the last days perilous times will come, for men will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, unloving, unforgiving, slanderers, without self-control, brutal, despisers of good, traitors, headstrong, haughty, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying its power. These people do not think anything about their life, where they'll spend eternity or anything. There's no foundation in their life for absolute truth.
Mm-hmm.
It's about achieve as much as you can and glorify self and cover and the lust of the flesh. That's all they care about is power and control.
Yep.
And these people they're so foolish. They're like little petulant children that throw in a tantrum in the store. And that's all I have to say. You have to build your life on the ultimate foundation of truth.
Amen.
Because man has been on this earth for over 2,000 years. They keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. Countries come and go. They collapse and fall. But we don't deal the root of the issue is the darkness and sin in men's hearts.
Yeah, I hear you, Bill.
I sent Jesus as our Savior to take on that sin if we turn our life over to Him. But some people never get it. Their hearts have become reprobate, and their hearts are hardened, just like Pharaoh. So,
yep. I hear you, Bill, and I'm with it, man. I do think that the only true change is going to be coming through our Lord Jesus Christ. You know, that message doesn't hit everybody, but it'll hit you when you need it. Jason in Mount Juliet wants to talk about DOGE. What up, Jason?
Hey, I just wanted to give a quick shout-out, Chris. You're the best thing that's happened to Super Talk. I cannot say how happy I am that you're on the air, brother. But
oh, man, that means a lot. Thank you.
I wanted to see if you saw the video. I don't know if it was this morning, yesterday, with Chris Burchett, where he was talking about DOGE. He prefaced the interview with, I'm probably going to get primaried for saying what I'm about to say. But he called out the fact, and we're so hard on the left, right, when it comes to all this spending. He called out the fact that left or right, we have a lot of people in Congress who are involved in this money Ponzi scheme where USAID money is going to girlfriends, wives.
Oh, yeah.
We truly have a constitutional crisis on our hands, and people don't get that yet. I hope that we will see that when this all starts uncovering. It's the one thing I'm hoping that maybe people on the left and right maybe will unite when they start seeing that there's crooks in Congress on both sides.
Yeah, no, I hear you, and I got the video right here, Jason. I appreciate it. This is Tim Burchett. This came out a couple hours ago. Wall Street Apes posted it on X. Got 1 million views right now. Tim Burchett, our fave, honestly. Like we talking about the governor, who's going to run for governor. It's like everybody's looking at John Rose or Marsha Blackburn or Burchett. I think Burchett would be the runaway favorite. I could be wrong, but I mean he'd be the guy I'd be voting for. But Burchett, this came out 2 hours ago. Again, Wall Street Apes got over 1 million views right now on X. He says he's willing to lose his job to tell us the real reason government officials are opposing Elon Musk and DOGE.
Message in there. What did he talk to you guys about? What was sort of the main message?
Well, we talked about specifics of areas, and I don't want to discuss the specific parts of it, but it's very encouraging of the things that he's disclosing and where he's headed with this, because they haven't even really cracked the nut. You've got education in the Pentagon that are out there, and you've not done this thing started.
Yeah, sort of conversation or pushback, from folks who are.
Oh yeah, they're going to push back because you've got congressmen on both sides of the aisle that if they follow that paper trail, it's going to come back to them. You got their wife and or girlfriend that works for some agency, quasi-agency, or some business. I'll probably get primary for saying that, but that's the truth, and we all know it. And this town's crooked as a dog's leg.
This town's as crooked as the dog's leg. He said, I'll probably get primaried for saying that. And I listen, in this state, I don't know who's going to primary Tim Burchett and win. Good, best of luck. As Trump would say, oh, we wish him luck. We wish him luck. No, Burchett's solid. And I would love to see him run for governor of this state. I think we need somebody with some spine and some strength, and I think Burchett would be fantastic. 615-737-9986. If you want to jump on the line, Brian on the road wants to talk about tariffs. What's up, Brian?
Hey, I got my own heat and air business. They're going to run me out of the business due to the fact of these. Every time a unit goes up, people are looking at me like I'm gouging, and I'm not. Some of the manufacturers are getting them assembled in Mexico. Kid you not. So they're going up a lot. And, I keep on taking these hits and hits and hits and, insurance, everything. And now eventually It's going to run me out of business, unfortunately.
I mean, well, I hear you, but see, this is the thing with the tariffs. They're being built in Mexico, right? The company can avoid the tariff if they start building them in America. And if you had an option to buy a unit that was built in Mexico or a unit that was built in America at a much lower price that's just as good of a unit, which one are you going to install and which one do you think your customers are going to want?
Right, and here's the problem. It's going to go up just like COVID, and they're never going to take the prices back down, just like everything else. They go up, never going to go back down.
I mean, until somebody offers it at a lower price, and then your other manufacturers are forced to compete.
Right, exactly, and that ain't going to happen. The new Freon that we're coming out with, there's a manufacturer. I'm not going to say the name, but they're coming out with this new Freon, and you're going to like this. So all these houses being built with this new equipment, guess what? The Freon's going to be discontinued in 3 years. And I said to the manufacturer, well, that's not right to the consumer, because what's going to happen when you give a 10-year warranty? And I come to your house, let's say 5 years. You know it's got a 10-year warranty. And I tell you, well, Mr. Jones, I cannot get you the coil because I ain't got the Freon.
Yeah.
And then you have to replace the unit. Not fair to the consumers.
No, I feel like a lot of people might sue in that situation.
Right, and then you know what? It's not a class action. Somehow they got into the judge's pocket, because I already know about all this, and it's an individual person can sue. Then you know how long that's going to be, right? You know, drags on.
Yeah, and then it's like what's cheaper, the new unit or the lawyer?
Exactly, and it's horrible because they're hurting the consumer.
Yeah,
and I won't put their equipment in because of that.
No, I hear you, man, and good on you for not doing it. But I wouldn't. I don't know. Like I understand where you're coming from with tariffs on some short term pain, but these manufacturers are going to be looking at the bottom line, and they're going to be moving stuff into the United States. I mean, we're already seeing it with companies like Honda. They're building their new hybrid Civic in Indiana instead of Mexico. We're seeing the investment in America by a company like Apple, which would have been just a non-starter just a few years back. I do think that the plan with the tariffs is bringing back the manufacturing, bringing back the good jobs, employing Americans, and then having American companies being able to excel here because they don't have that tariff on them.
Yeah, and hopefully somebody's got some kahunas to break them, because they're looking at, especially in heat and air, they look at, well, people need it. So, you know, that's the whole problem. If we go back to burning wood and all that, we could say, so stick it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I hear you, man.
I get so frustrated because these companies, they're just gouging the consumer, and there's nothing I could. And then I'm the face of the company, basically. You know, I didn't make it in my basement, and then I got to deal with their mess. You know, put the fire out, basically, become a fireman, you know, and eat some of the profit that I'm going to make the customer happy. And it's not fair.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. But if it wasn't this as a small business owner, it would be something else, right? Like you're never going to have a problem-free day.
Nope.
Hey, I appreciate you, man, and I appreciate. Hey, I appreciate your perspective. I appreciate you calling in, Brian. Thank you so much. It is 9:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We'll take a couple more of your phone calls when we get back, and then top of the hour, I want to talk about the Democrat reboot. The Democrat reboot. The Democrats are going to have to reboot, right? Who is the leader of the Democrat Party? Is it Adam Schiff? Is it Jasmine Crockett? Is it Hakeem Jeffries? Is it Gavin Newsom? I think you can make arguments that it's none of those losers. We'll talk about that top of the hour. Again, more of your phone calls when we get back. 9:51 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. That's Joan Jones in the newsroom, 57 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Got a bunch of people waiting on the line, doing a bit of an agenda-free Friday at the bottom of the hour, every hour today. Real quick, Brent is on the road. He wants to talk about corruption and AOC. I feel like those are they the same thing, Brent?
Pretty much. Number one, I love you. Number two, I was going to say, most of the callers that are calling in, they need to understand that, just how we see Democrats, the Democrats see us the exact same way. So I think our strategy has to kind of align with that.
That's true.
Three,
the big difference, the big difference, though, is that Democrats are wrong in the way that they see us, and we're pretty accurate.
Well, yeah, we've got proof to point to how they are, and theirs is just subjective. But anyway, number three, while we're looking at the corruption, how a bartender goes to, some rich fat cat up there in Washington, I'm sure if we did the paper trail there, we'd find a lot of corruption in that line of thinking. That's all I really wanted to say.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you're making the case that AOC is comped, like she was picked, she was selected to get the gig.
I mean, Nancy Pelosi, how do you say I'm going to serve my country, and then you go to Washington and you come out 10 times better? You should have to go back and live in the city that you're making laws for. Try to run a business with those laws where somebody's stealing it off the top, and then you go try to run a small business, or you go try to make your way through life with the laws that you pass.
Yeah,
that's how it should be.
You're absolutely right. I mean, well, the way the founders wanted it, they wanted you to come serve and then leave, go back and do whatever you were doing beforehand, whether you were a doctor or a lawyer or an entrepreneur. And if you follow, and I appreciate the call, Brent, if you follow what the founders wanted, it's like the closest thing that we've had to the founders, dream or what they envisioned in a while. The closest thing we've had is Donald Trump, right? Built himself up, doesn't really need the role, and once he's done, he's going to go away. Despite what the left says, they say he's going to stay around forever. He's going to be a king. It's like as much as we can dream, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't. But you can make the case for a lot of the Democrats, like, hey, where exactly did you come from, and how did you rise to the level you're at? I mean, you can make that case for AOC, sure. I think it's a little bit easier to make the case for Kamala Harris. She went from being Montel Williams' side piece to Willie Brown's mistress to the Democrat presidential nominee. It's just, that's a little weird. Failing upwards, that's the name of the game for the Democrats. The Democrats do need a reboot, though, right? I think we all understand that the party's in complete disarray. There's no real leadership, and it seems like there's a mad dash for who's going to be the leader of the Democrat Party. Is it Gavin Newsom? Is it Jasmine Crockett? Is it Adam Schiff? Is it Hakeem Jeffries? Am I missing anybody? We'll talk about the Democrat reboot and who could be the next leader of the Democrat Party when we get back on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
China. The three were stationed at Joint Base McChord in Washington state. The FBI says they stole a military computer and dozens of hard drives containing classified details about U.S. weapons systems.
Officials say the men plan to trade the information for payments in cryptocurrency. Now, FBI Director Kash Patel saying these individuals have been charged with stealing America's defense intelligence capabilities and empowering adversaries like China in betrayal of our country. They will now face American justice. If convicted, the three men could face decades in prison.
ABC's Nicole D'Antonio. The man charged with attempting to kill President Trump on his Florida golf course has a court date this morning. Fox News' Chanley Painter tells us prosecutors are expected to spar with Ryan Routh's defense lawyers over scheduling and evidence.
Prosecutors claim the defense has not provided a, quote, single item that it reasonably expects to use in its case in chief at trial, which prosecutors need in order to move forward and prepare their motions before trial. But Ruth's defense team responded in part, quote, the defense is not required to produce anything at all.
President Trump said this week he wants to get to the bottom of both attempts on his life. Meantime, some new hires at CIA are getting pink slipped today, days after a federal judge gave the okay to the Trump administration to terminate intelligence officers working in DEI roles. The New York Times reports those being cut were called to meet at a location away from the agency's headquarters in Langley, Virginia, to surrender their security credentials. A man tells Channel 4 that he's having second thoughts about living here after a shooting in Antioch on Wednesday night. 30 shots were fired, bullets flying into fire station number 33. They also struck a car and a 16-year-old.
Extremely concerning, considering I've only been here for 6 months, and I've just started, my family, myself. It's pretty concerning. I'm a very protective person myself.
Police are looking over security video to figure out who was doing the shooting and whether it was a targeted shooting. And guess who's being inducted into the Music City Hall of Fame this month? Country music star Luke Combs will get a spot on the Walk of Fame March 20th. The public is invited to attend as well. That's the latest news. Weather is up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Andy, how does it feel to win the summer?
It feels great. I couldn't have done it without my lawn care team at Weedman.
There you have it. It's Weedman for the win. Visit weedman.com for a free quote and save 50% on your first service with promo code WIN.
A chilly start this morning, but a warm-up is on the way. I'm WSMV4 First Alert meteorologist Melanie Layden. After a cold start in the 30s, we're climbing to the mid-60s this afternoon. We'll see a mostly cloudy sky and breezy at times. Low temperatures falling down to the upper 40s tonight. It'll be slightly cooler this weekend, both days in the 50s, before spring-like temperatures next week.
It's 6 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. So any moment they're saying Trump is going to be speaking in the Oval Office. Do we know what this is about, Mason? What Trump is going to be speaking about?
I'm not sure. From rumors that it's going to be on the DOGE cuts.
DOGE cuts.
DOGE cuts and maybe a Ukraine nod.
Okay.
From what I'm seeing here on Fox.
Yeah, Monica Page, she was on the show. Was that yesterday? I mean, this week's kind of melded together. She was on the show. She always posts the president's schedule, and all she has on it is delivering remarks from the Oval Office. 2:30 today, Trump is going to be signing some executive orders. Then we got 3 o'clock. He's going to deliver remarks at the White House Digital Assets Summit, talking about cryptocurrency.
Ooh.
And then 5 o'clock tonight, heading to the winter White House, Mar-a-Lago. I feel like Mar-a-Lago should just be the main White House.
I wouldn't be opposed.
Am I the only one that thinks that?
Florida's nice.
Well, I just why would you want to be in D.C.?
To be close enough to everything that's going on.
Yeah, but he's a plane ride away from anywhere.
I know. But I think we're trying to save money here.
Yeah, but wouldn't you save money if he's just living at his house?
Yeah, but also, I mean, I don't know. To fly a big jet like that around everywhere, I feel like that's just another thing
Mason's worried about the carbon footprint. Are you worried about the Are you worried about the carbon footprint?
Oh yeah, afraid about those chemtrails, bro.
Chemtrails are real. Yeah.
Oh, 100% they are.
Yeah. Monty Fritz. Shout out to Monty Fritz.
Yes,
you know, so he put a bill in the Tennessee legislature last year to outlaw them here. And now he's got another one working through currently that will add a penalty to the people that keep spraying them.
Ooh.
Only a misdemeanor. I think it could be a little bit heavier, but hey, Monty's like the only guy fighting for this.
Yeah.
Shout out Monty Fritz. Big fan of Monty Fritz. The Democrat Party needs an absolute reboot, right? Like I think we can all understand that. We're feeling good on our side. We're feeling rather confident. We like what's happening, but the Democrat Party needs a reboot, and I think that everybody can see that. The social media strategies, they're not hitting. You got the Kamala HQ account is now Facts Now, right? Or what is it, like Fact Post, something like that? They rebranded the Kamala HQ Twitter account, and now that's just posting fake news and getting community noted. You got Senate Democrats posting the same ridiculous video over and over and over again. Embarrassing. They don't even change the script even a little bit. You got Jasmine Crockett dancing to Kendrick Lamar and sticking out her tongue on social media, and it's like, please. We should outlaw any member of Congress sticking out their tongue in any form of fashion, period. And these people are all reaching and grabbing and trying to become the new leader of the Democrat Party. It definitely isn't Nancy Pelosi anymore. It's definitely not Kamala Harris. Joe Biden. Has anybody heard from Joe? Is Joe alive? Serious question.
I don't know.
He just disappeared.
I'm just saying, if we had that camera set up in that one room that he could wander past occasionally.
He fell off the face of the earth.
It's like Democrats gave up on him.
Yeah, honestly.
Just a little bit.
Bill Ackman is a hedge fund manager, and he's a former Democrat, or he is a Democrat. But he was talking about how a complete reboot is needed at the Democrat Party. And he says it's really in response to how they're reacting to DOGE. The majority of the American people want DOGE to do what DOGE does, and the Democrats are just screaming and yelling, and it's like it doesn't look good. So Bill Ackman, hedge fund manager, on Wednesday on World According to Boyar, said the Democrat Party needed a complete reboot to the point leadership should resign.
They really put themselves in a hole.
Democratic Party needs a complete reboot. The problem is that leadership and people in power generally don't like to give up power. But this is a case where a lot of people need to resign in disgrace. Party needs a complete reboot. They continue to double down on all of the mistakes and policies that were made before. If I remember the Democratic Party, the leadership, I would be saying, we love this effort to eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse in our government. DOGE is great. We just want to make sure there's some checks and balances. Please keep us informed, as opposed to marching and opposing and telling staff members not to respond to emails.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, this is the most sane take that you're going to hear. If you were a member of the Democrat Party, the best thing that you could do right now, Gavin Newsom comes out, he says, "Oh, it's unfair for boys to compete in girls' sports." Like, yeah, you're going to lose some of your base there. But I think the best thing that a Democrat could do, like a la a Fetterman type guy, would be to come out and support DOGE, support the efforts to shrink the federal government. Democrats are upset because they know that they're going to be losing some of their slush funds, but they should. They should be supporting this effort to shrink the federal government. They should be supporting efforts to save American taxpayers money. They shouldn't be yelling and screaming about paying for circumcisions in Mozambique and transgender comic books in Peru and DEI musicals in Ireland. And what is it? Was it a transgender opera in Colombia? Iraqi Sesame Street for what, $20 million for some puppets? $20 million for puppets? Is that what we're doing? Why would any Democrats support that? Well, they're clinically insane. I do believe that. I think they're clinically insane. And you wonder, where is the Democrat leadership? Who is the leader of the Democrat Party? Mike Johnson was asked that yesterday on Fox News. This is in response to Al Green being censured. Mike Johnson saying, Democrat Party, complete disarray.
Time. Nancy Pelosi was sitting there that night. You just mentioned Hakeem Jeffries. Who are Democrats taking their orders from now?
It's a great question. I mean, the party is in disarray. You see that. They don't have an identified leader. They don't have a vision. They don't have a platform they can run on. And so the only word I can describe it is they're flailing right now. So that's why they resort to these antics. They want to fight Trump. They want to fight the America First agenda. They want to fight all of us. And so they debase themselves by showing up on the House floor and acting like children. It's sad. This is an unfortunate day, and I wish we hadn't had to go down this road.
Yeah, it is sad. It's not unpredictable. This is kind of the trajectory that the Democrats have been on for a while. And the way they acted at the joint session of Congress is completely backfiring. Apparently, in the back rooms, you had House Democrat leadership just pissed. Hakeem Jeffries, very angry. And they're angry at the Democrats. And the Democrats becoming the story at that joint session of Congress. Jasmine Crockett, word on the street is that she's one of the ones that got chewed out. Jasmine Crockett, leadership confronting their members who disrupted, according to Axios. Hakeem Jeffries had requested that members not make themselves the story, but nobody listened to Hakeem Jeffries, so I think you can scratch him off the list as leader. Nearly a dozen Democrats were called into a come to Jesus meeting, Axios reports. It's hilarious. Democrats at a come to Jesus meeting. Things I didn't expect I'd be saying, but that's how Axios put it. So I guess who's the leader? Who is the leader of the Democrat Party? Again, I don't think it's Hakeem Jeffries. Maybe somebody can make a case that it is Hakeem Jeffries. But does this guy sound like the leader of the Democrat Party to you?
This flood the zone strategy, understand clearly. The flood the zone strategy is designed to disorient people. I ain't going to be disoriented. I'm not going to be disoriented by it all. We have to push back with righteous indignation. But this whole flood the zone strategy is designed to create the appearance of inevitability. The notion that Donald Trump is unstoppable. He ain't unstoppable.
I mean, does he? Do you think he inspires the Democrat Party? Do you think any Democrats hear him and say, "That's my guy"? Like he says all the things that he's supposed to say as a Democrat, but I'm just not buying him as the team leader, right? Like he seems more like a supporting role as opposed to the leader. I wouldn't say Hakeem Jeffries is the leader. Is Adam Schiff the leader currently? Maybe you can make the case that Adam Schiff is the leader. He certainly was one of the leaders in the Russia collusion hoax. But Adam Schiff, this is him the other day. He posted this online. Said, I want to talk about fear.
Tonight I want to talk to you about fear. About fear. About the fear that Americans are feeling, the fear that businesses have, that if they speak out, they will lose government contracts. The fear that federal workers have, that if they write the wrong email or they say the wrong thing, they might lose their job.
Fear. The fear that federal workers have that if they do the wrong thing or say the wrong thing, they might be fired. It's like conservatives have had that fear for years, not just federal workers, but just about in every industry in this country with the advancement of DEI hiring practices and political correctness. Yeah, conservatives have had that fear for a long time, especially in some of these blue states. My gosh. You should try working in Michigan or Massachusetts. It's crazy.
The fear that ordinary citizens have that their IRS returns may be audited or their private data may be misused.
Coming from the Democrats who tried to hire 87,000 new IRS agents, a year ago?
The fear that press organizations have that if they publish the wrong op-ed, their business owners' interests will be affected. The censorship, the self-censorship we see.
Again, this is coming from the party who quite literally had the New York Post censored for the Hunter Biden laptop. This is from the party that put their thumb on the scale on social media and said, if anybody says that the virus comes from Wuhan, you're not allowed. You can't do that. The Post will be severely limited. You may be shadow banned. You may be banned outright. I mean, it's saying something as simple as learn to code was getting you banned online. The censorship.
In the Washington Post and the LA Times, ABC settling suits with Donald Trump. What we need to understand about this climate of fear they have created and the extraordinary swiftness with which they've created it is this is the tool that dictators and would-be dictators use to consolidate their power. They have to create a climate of fear.
Again, that was your party last term, Joe Biden, winter of death. Like, I remember all of this. Yep. Fear. Hey, fear is definitely helpful when you're trying to control people. And the Democrat Party tried to at least, that control over the last 4 years. Now they're doing what Democrats do. Adam Schiff is gaslighting us. Does Adam Schiff sound like the leader of the Democrat Party to you? Who's the leader? 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. And while Adam Schiff is doing this video, this is just how inauthentic the Democrat Party is. He's doing, you see the influencers online and they have the little microphone, the lapel mic, but they hold it. So it's like supposed to be clipped to your shirt, but it's a little mini mic. And influencers online, when they're doing man on the street, will hold it and use that as the microphone. He's so inauthentic that somebody must have told him that this is a good look. So he's holding the little lapel mic in his hand while he's sitting there talking. He didn't clip it to his shirt. So, is this what the kids are doing? Does this make me look like a real human? Yeah, apparently. I guess. Does Adam Schiff sound like the leader of the Democrat Party? Gary in Hohenwald, what do you think about Adam Schiff?
It sounds like an intro to a bad Twilight Zone episode.
Yes. It doesn't really sound like leadership, does it?
No. It sounds like he's reading a script and he doesn't believe what he's reading.
No, and I don't even think he was the guy that wrote the script. I appreciate the call. What about Jasmine Crockett? Do you think Jasmine Crockett could be the next leader of the Democrat Party?
If you really want to know who the criminals are in this country, you can Google it. You don't have to trust me. But the people that commit 80% of the most violent crimes in this country are white supremacists.
Oh. Yeah, it sounds presidential to me. She sounds like leadership material. 80% of the most violent crimes are committed by white supremacists. Is that so, Jasmine? Is that so? I didn't even waste any time looking up the actual FBI crime stats, because people call you names when you cite FBI crime stats. But I can assure you, if I were to cite the FBI crime stats, white supremacists are not committing 80% of the most violent crime. Not defending white supremacism. I'm just making a note that this is clearly insane rhetoric being used by Jasmine Crockett. She said this not once, but twice, as she said it again last night.
Let me make sure y'all got the facts. Most extreme crimes that take place in this country are committed by white supremacists.
white supremacists. The most violent crime in this country. Is that your new leader of the Democrat Party? Again, Bill Ackman said the Democrats need an absolute reboot. Is that who you're going to reboot with? They're not sending their best. Listen, I'm here for it. And I don't want to give them many ideas on what to do better. The most prominent Democrats right now consistently insert foot in mouth. They consistently go along with Democrat narrative talking points that have been debunked time and time and time again. And they consistently make the same mistakes and then never learn from them. Ever. They rarely try to do anything new. Gavin Newsom, to his credit, he did try something new with Gavcast, the new Gavin Newsom podcast. It's not the real name of it, but I prefer to call it Gavcast.
It's a better title.
He had Charlie Kirk on, and he proved instantly why Democrats should not be doing long-form podcasting. Ever. Period. I'll play that for you on the way. Plus, we'll take some of your calls. I see Steve, Eric, Bill, Tony, Kyle. We'll get you guys on the way. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
When severe weather happens, we break in.
This is Middle Tennessee's most reliable source for breaking news and severe weather as it happens.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN and streaming 24/7 on the Super Talk 99.7 WTN app.
Busy bee, yeah, busy bee. If you need heat or cold AC.
Join the Beehive Club today. Just $99 per unit. Receive 3 annual tune-ups, 10% off all repairs, front-of-the-line service, $100 annual accrued replacement credit, max $1,000, no overtime or holiday fees, and exclusive Beehive member promotions.
Call 775-7833.
Why Tennessee lawmakers want to make some student families pay up to go to school here. And what exactly 3 soldiers allegedly sold to China before they were arrested. Those stories and more coming up at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Revolution of common sense idea that Trump is pushing. This is the issue that maybe people associate with it the most, because if there ever was an 80-20 or a 90-10 issue in America, it's this one. I mean, President Trump had the young athlete at the State of the Union the other night who'd been really injured in a volleyball game over it. I saw people posting video of that horrific injury, and I still saw liberals on social media laughing at this person's misfortune. And so I think the Democratic Party is torn up about it, but the American people aren't. Trump used it to political advantage, but then they expected him to do something about it, which he has done. If Democrats don't get on the right side of at least one 80-20 issue in America, they're going to lose again in 28.
That's Scott Jennings on CNN last night. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. He's making the point that you gotta get on the winning side of at least one issue if you want to win an election, right? Now, you see all these new leaders of the Democrat Party stepping up, the next in liners, right? You got Adam Schiff, you got Jasmine Crockett, you got AOC. None of them are on the right side of any 80-20 issue. Now, Gavin Newsom yesterday did attempt to get on the right side of one 80-20 issue. He tried to. He was talking about men in women's sports. And Gavin Newsom said, it's unfair. It's unfair. And I get what Gavin Newsom is trying to do with this podcast. He's trying to get the moderates and the conservatives to maybe come around to him being the president. So he wants to open himself to newer audiences. I think this was a fail on so many levels, having Charlie Kirk on. I don't think that you won over any conservatives. I don't think you won over any moderates. And I think he actually lost some Democrats. This is what he said about men in women's sports.
So like you right now should come out and be like, you know what? The young man who's about to win the state championship in the long jump in female sports, that shouldn't happen. You as the governor should step out and say no.
No. That's the kid that's going to win. He jumped it like 8 feet, broke the record by like 8 feet.
And I appreciate but like, would you do something like that? Would you say no men in female sports?
Well, I think it's an issue of fairness. I completely agree with you on that. So that's easy to call out, the unfairness of that.
Oh, it's easy to call out the unfairness of that. Now, he does try to clarify his opinion and say, well, I still have a heart for trans people and all this. But see, he already committed a cardinal sin to the current Democrat oligarchs and gods. The Human Rights Campaign, an LGBTQ plus advocacy organization, blasted California Governor Gavin Newsom for abandoning transgender athletes earlier this week in an interview with conservative activist Charlie Kirk. They're already losing their minds. So he's trying to get a wider audience. What he's really doing is just limiting the audience he has. There were so many good moments from that Kirk Newsom podcast. I'll bring some of them to you on the way. Plus, we'll do a bit of an agenda-free Friday at the bottom of the hour here. Anything else you want to talk about? 615-737-9986. And when Trump goes live in the Oval Office, we'll be here to get him on the radio for you. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$10:30 now. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. What to do about the outsized number of undocumented students in Tennessee schools? Lawmakers are working on a plan.
If signed into law, families would have to provide documentation that the student is a citizen of the United States or detail their immigration status. If parents can't do that, then they would have to pay. That could cost anywhere from $7,000 to $8,000 a year, and that's per student.
Channel 4's Danielle Ledbetter. Schools would also be empowered to simply turn away those students. In Hopkinsville, Kentucky, a man is facing charges after allegedly attempting to set fire to his daughter's home while she and her sister were inside. 47-year-old William Waters' wife already had a restraining order against him before that incident. President Trump said he would turn up the heat on Russia until it reaches a ceasefire and peace deal with Ukraine. Trump threatened Russia with sanctions and tariffs in a Truth Social post, saying, quote, based on the fact that Russia is absolutely pounding Ukraine on the battlefield right now, I'm strongly considering large-scale banking sanctions, and tariffs on Russia until a ceasefire and final settlement agreement on peace is reached. And 3 service members arrested for selling out the U.S. to China. They allegedly exchanged national defense secrets for payments of cryptocurrency.
Prosecutors say Zhao, a supply sergeant stationed at Joint Base Lewis McChord in Washington State, received thousands of dollars in exchange for selling an encrypted military computer and 20 hard drives, some classified as secret and top secret. Another soldier was charged with sharing with a former soldier documents about the Army's Bradley and Stryker armored vehicles.
ABC News Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas. That's the latest news. Weather is up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Does your home or business have a leaking roof? Don't assume you have to replace it. At Tim Leeper Roofing, we will assess your roof for a roof repair first. Could save you thousands of dollars and extend the life of your roof 3 to 5 years. Don't let the other contractors treat you like an ATM machine. Visit us at timleeperroofing.com and schedule your appointment today.
We've got you covered. Tim Leeper Roofing.
Getting engaged? At Shane Company, we'll help you find the perfect diamond. This is your engagement ring, aka only your life's most important piece of jewelry. No need to worry. As gemstone experts since 1929, we handpick only the most beautiful natural and lab-grown diamonds cut to our high standards in every price range. We have diamonds in all shapes and sizes, ready to compare side by side right here in our store. Come see for yourself at Shanco.com or at your local store. No appointment necessary. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hello, I'm Dr. Brian Foley, Advanced Clinical Nutritionist DC. Why live with digestive problems when there's a safe, natural, stabilizing approach to healing your digestive system with no medications that may have long-lasting harmful side effects?
To learn more, call 615-333-0021.
Thirty-seven minutes past the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Hey, how are you? If you're watching us over on Super Talk TV, hit like, hit subscribe. It helps me feed my kids. They want to go to camp. I tell them we got to get the likes up. Hit like, hit subscribe over on YouTube. We got a lot to cover, but the show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I got some people waiting on the line. They want to weigh in on Gavin Newsom and the Gavcast. How dare he admit that it's unfair for boys to play in girls' sports? That's every single liberal online today. It's kind of embarrassing. Like that's just the truth, right? It's just a fact that it's unfair. And they're honing in on that one little clip, even though he tried to clean it up after. It wasn't good enough. No, LGBTQ groups are calling out Gavin Newsom. This is what happens when a Democrat tries to go Big Tent, right? He doesn't win anybody new over, and he loses the people that supported him even when he was ruining California. Let's go to, who we got first? Let's go to Rick in Franklin. You're up first on Super Talk. What's up, Rick?
Hey, I'm really enjoying your show today. On the issue of Newsom out in California, what we saw there was an exact example of the big giant box the Democrats have built for themselves that they're going to bury themselves in if they don't change tact. If they don't come to the center, we're a center-right country. We always have been. If they don't come to the middle, they're in line for decades-long defeats, one after another after another, because the American people are fed up with this.
Yeah, I hear you, Rick, and I appreciate the call. Now, listen, I also don't want to underestimate our enemies. I don't want to interrupt them while they're making a mistake, but I don't want to underestimate them. Midterms are going to be here before we know it. And anything that's in the news cycle now, I think we can all agree, we learned from past election cycles, it's not going to matter, right? Like, I don't think anybody's going to be thinking about the Gavcast when it comes to midterm election time. And I don't know if anybody's going to remember the Gavcast episode with Charlie Kirk back in 2025 when it comes to 2028. Like, I don't think that's realistic. But it is just an illustration of how far the Democrats have fallen so quickly. And it's because of these 80-20 issues. It's the 80-20 issues. And Charlie did a good job during the Gavcast, bringing up every 80-20 issue that Gavin Newsom is on the wrong side of, like banning porn in your kid's library.
How about the book ban stuff? On a serious note, 4,240 books or titles, libraries and schools are banned in 2023. Is that not, as a conservative?
Well, it depends. I mean, like, I think we can both agree pornography should not be taught to 9-year-olds.
Fair point.
Okay,
Fair.
So that's a book ban.
All right. Well,
I mean, we're 15 seconds into a 2-minute clip, and Charlie already has Gavin being like, "Yeah, we shouldn't give porn to 10-year-olds." Yeah, I mean, it's an easy position to take. You look at some of these books, and they're absolutely graphic in nature. There's illustrations of just the most graphic things. I probably shouldn't describe it on the air, but trust me, I've seen these books. I've held these books. I was at Believer Summit in Florida, standing next to John Amachukwu, Reverend John, Pastor John, and Pastor Alan Jackson. And we're the three of us are passing back this book that is available in middle school libraries, elementary school libraries. And like, as a grown man standing next to his pastor and another friend who's a pastor, I'm like, I'm embarrassed that I'm even holding this book. Like you guys handed it to me, and I feel awful holding it. That's how bad this stuff is. They want it in the schools for your kids. This is another one of those 80-20 issues that Democrats can't get over, and they're going to scream book bans, and then we'll show them what's in the books, and then they have nothing to say.
Well, there were some other books.
Hold
I
on,
mean,
no.
Bill
Hold on.
O'Reilly's
That
book
was the
banned.
Moms for Liberty contention. Time out.
Yeah.
Like, I agree on Bill O'Reilly. The Moms for Liberty movement that you made a big thing of was just no porn to 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
We agree. So those books should be banned.
Well, okay.
So what we should do right now is every California school that has porn in their library should be kicked out.
Does that
is a
include the
book ban.
Bible?
Well, I wouldn't say the Song of Solomon is porn.
No, but I
it-
mean, some have made that point. Is that a fair point, or is it offensive?
I don't think that's fair
and as
at
a man
all.
of faith, and I deeply admire that about you.
Thank you.
Sincerely.
Yes, but no, I mean, again, the Song of Solomon is rather risque.
No, it's
but what we're
very,
talking
so,
about
but-
in these books is not just the words; it's also the images. And again, your audience can look at the images themselves.
Here's the thing. They always do that, right? Well, what about the Bible? What about the Bible? What about it? What about it? Again, Charlie makes the perfect point. It's not just the words. It's the images. And if it's in an elementary school library where a 6, 7, 8-year-old can get their hands on it, what do you think those kids are flipping through the books for? It's not the words. It's the pictures. I was once a kid, and when I would take books out of the school library, it was very, very heavily dependent on how many pictures are in said book. I wasn't looking for the ones with all the words. I mean, that's just a kid thing, right? It's not just the words, it's the images.
Okay,
it's highly graphic. But again,
but it seems a banning binge. I mean, at next level, sort of cancel culture.
But why do you think moms are doing that? Do you think it's because they want to have mind control, or do you
No,
think
I
that they
think-
have come across
I think
incident of highly provocative material?
I love moms, but this moms, I mean, we don't have to get into Moms for Liberty. It
I mean, you
seems
brought up the book bans, though. I mean,
deeply organized for a larger agenda, but that's my humble opinion.
No, but let me just, kind of complete the point, is that it's easy to just call it kind of a book ban, but when you actually have to read some of these books, it will take your breath away of some of this stuff, right? You're like, okay, we're teaching a 10-year-old how to put a condom on.
I know. I just have a problem with, who the hell is going to decide that? Government? I mean, Ron DeSantis is going to decide what I can read or say in the boardroom, in the classroom.
This is the exercise of politics, though. Yeah. The exercise of politics is the highest form of community because it blends morality and sociability. So what we do is we have discussion and elections, and we have boards and commissions, right? And we as a people say, okay, no porn for 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
And that's politics, right?
That's how it works. We have discussion. We come to a consensus, and that's what we do. Democrats can't handle this kind of conversation. Gavin Newsom looked completely out of his element during this entire conversation with Charlie. His body language was small. He shrunk into his chair. There were many different times where you can see it on his face that he knows the answer, but he's afraid to say it. And he's afraid to say it not because of what conservatives are going to say about him, but because of what his voters are going to think about him. It's crazy, man. The Dems have a lot of issues. Eric in Morristown, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Eric?
Hey, thanks for the call, man. Hey,
Absolutely.
Interesting topic. I think people, real quick on that, people should look into the National Librarian Association. I think I got the words correct on that. They're the ones that are pushing and approving this stuff going into public elementary schools and middle schools at the behest of quote-unquote NGOs of the LGBT alphabet soup community.
Yep, the alphabet mafia.
That's going in there. Now, segue into that, I originally called about holding people accountable, the accountability of GOP and Democrats. We're real good at holding Democrats accountable, for what Charlie Kirk's bossing over Gavcast there. I love that. Anyway, the thing is you're talking earlier about Tim Burkett, Representative Burkett, regarding the release of these files, that Epstein files, that say, there's nobody's going to see anything. He's probably going to be primaried. I hope that he runs to replace Marsha Blackburn, because I'm sorry, I put Marsha Blackburn in with AG Pam Bondi, believe it or not, and being a previous Floridian, moving up here to the great state of Tennessee now, she was sketchy even down there regarding how wishy-washy she was on some of the stuff in her public statement.
Yeah, well, she was the AG the entire time that Epstein was in there. But so there's another clip during this Charlie Kirk Gavin conversation I'm going to play, and it's like they're talking about how with the Democrats though, everybody has to be in lockstep, but with Republicans currently, we have a lot of debate, and I think that you're illustrating that point perfectly. Like we can say, listen, if you're going to support funding for Ukraine, we're going to primary you. We can have very, very honest debate in conservative circles about the effectiveness or lack thereof of Pam Bondi. Is she just angling for a new Fox show, or does she really want to be the AG? Does she really want to have this information released? We can have very large and open discussions about DOGE and the cuts that need to be made. And we can call out Republicans when we think that they're making too much money from Big Pharma, a la Marsha Blackburn, or some of the other ones. And we do this all the time. The Democrats don't seem to be able to have any of those conversations.
No, they don't, and I think because they're goose-stepping, and I'm going to use those actual National Socialist German Workers' Party references. Yeah, they goose-step, and if you step out of line, they're going to whack you, and that's why they vote in entire, the unanimity of block voting that they go through.
Yep.
As far as those of us that are considered quote-unquote on the right. I consider myself a classical liberal that looks at all sides and addresses issues. Now, I may come down on one side predominantly more than the other, on certain issues. That's just me. I think, there's room for everybody at the table, but if you, how should I say, you're picking your nose, mom's going to slap your hand.
Yeah.
You're going to go watch, you're going to leave, you're going to leave the table there. If you want to talk like adults, it's fine. I personally think that, I'm going to go out on a limb here, Pam Bondi needs to go.
Yep.
Because she is rapidly becoming a Jeff Sessions, if that hasn't already been said.
Yeah.
And now Epstein's documents, whatever, we're probably never going to see them, but unless they're heavily redacted. Now all of a sudden the reason she's got to go through them all is a national security issue.
Who's national security? That's the question. That's the question that everybody keeps asking. Who's national security?
Exactly, 110%.
Yep.
I could go on. I appreciate you letting me vent, man. There's other callers on the line. But anyway, that's my 2 cents, man. I think we need to look at, not just scrutinize GavCast, for example, okay, but there's issues that we need to sweep around our own back door.
100%.
Sweep around everybody else.
Yep.
Anyway, thanks, man.
I'm with you. I'm with you, Eric, and I appreciate the call. Yeah, no, listen, like we are not blemish free in the Republican/conservative movement, but we do call out our own. Like I said, I've heard from multiple people. Pam Bondi, she's just angling for a Fox News show. People are pissed at Pam Bondi for the way that she handled the Epstein files in the administration. Susie Wiles, I heard a rumor that, and I can't confirm it, but it's a rumor, and I do hear it from a couple of my sources, and it's Susie Wiles didn't know about it. Or maybe that's true. If so, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. And they say that POTUS is going to circle back around, and Pam Bondi may not be the AG for very long. Well, I mean, only time will tell if that rumor is correct or if it's false. Listen, if it's false and we get some real Epstein info, then everybody's happy. If it's true, well, then we get a new AG in there, and hopefully we get some Epstein info, and everybody's happy. Maybe the Epstein info's all been deleted anyway, and we're never going to see it. I mean, that's probably out of all those scenarios, that's the most likely. But we are able to call out our own. The left doesn't do that as well as the right. I mean, the left doesn't do many things as well as the right. They're failing in media. We're dominating media. We have the alternative sphere absolutely cornered. And during this conversation with Gavin Newsom and Charlie Kirk, Gavin Newsom admitted as much.
We're losing. We have I feel it's asymmetry of Donald Trump and Elon Musk sending out tweets, or you doing social media, and then me doing a 3-minute hit at 3:00 in the afternoon on CNN. I mean, how the hell do we compete? We're toast.
Well, I mean, part of it, and credit to you for doing long-form podcasting, because long-form podcasting does penetrate different audiences, right? And our show does very well. But part of the problem of the Democrat Party that for the health of the country would be great to change is that Democrats cannot survive in long-form podcasting environments.
Why?
It's too unscripted. It's too masculine, honestly. And the Democrat Party's become too
What
feminine.
is masculine about a podcast? Honestly, because I get the whole manosphere, this bro podcast
to go
stuff.
into the wilderness with no rules and duel it out and see who's better or who's stronger. No, seriously. I mean, like, what?
Democrats
what? No, I mean, like,
we don't do it.
No, but
You're right. We, for whatever reason, don't do it.
You can laugh, but like, who in the Democrat Party?
We're not. You're right.
Will go. I mean, maybe Bernie Sanders, but he only went for like an hour and a
when
half.
he was a Democrat.
Well, Bobby, who's now HHS.
Yeah.
But like, there's something to be said that if you want to earn the respect of forgotten America, you have to show them that you can intellectually joust with no script, no hard breaks, no producers in the ears, no teleprompters. That's where new media is going. Now,
yeah, and listen, they had opportunities to do this. Kamala Harris had opportunities to do this. She had invitations to Theo Vaughn. She had invitations to Joe Rogan. But again, they can't go out into the wilderness without those notes, without that teleprompter, without the producer in their ear, without 60 Minutes doing a boatload of edits and making it look very, very nice. And now the American people, the majority of them, they see through all of that. All of it. I love the way he describes it. It's masculine. No rules. You got to duel it out. That's the way to go, man. Can you defend your positions or not? And you saw time and time again in this podcast where these 80-20 issues came up, Gavin Newsom couldn't defend those positions. He just couldn't. So he agreed that porn shouldn't be in schools, and he agreed that boys shouldn't play girls' sports. And he didn't win over any conservatives or moderates doing it. The only thing that he did was erode the people that were already in his base. The people that already supported him are now like, yo, what's the deal, man? You sold us out. I think that the Democrats are going to have a real problem. You either have to come to the middle and sacrifice some of those fringe elements of the left, or you're not going to win. But I think that even when you try to come to the middle, conservatives, moderates, independents, classical liberals are going to look at you and go, I still don't believe you. I still don't believe you. I got a little bit more from this Charlie Kirk, Gavin Newsom interview that I'll play for you after the break. It's 10:52 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
President Trump threatening Russia. Space Force says a space plane has successfully returned from a year-long mission. Got a jobs report. We'll break that down. Got a new Facebook scam. Daylight saving time debate heats back up. All this more at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom, 10:58 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, betterwater.com for water filtration systems. Got a text here. Chris, how many podcasts with the conservatives do you think it will take for Newsom to stop inviting them on his show? I said, LOL. Mason and I were talking about this during the break. Mason said he's got about 2 more episodes left.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, you listen to this thing, it's unbelievable. They were talking about how Democrats can't handle the conservative media space. And Newsom's like, well, you made the point that we're just not hardwired for it. And Charlie Kirk says, well, yeah, pretty much.
Well, I think it's two things.
To be able to participate in
Well,
this.
I think that it's 2 things. Number one, your upbringing in college campuses does not foster debate like it used to. It just doesn't. It's that it's about silencing the critic and the elevation of the victim.
Yep.
So you do not have the practice of robust having to defend your position. It's very monolithic. It's very centralized. It's very top-down. It's quasi-authoritarian. And then secondly, I would just say that the philosophy on the worldview, as I mentioned earlier, that you guys have adopted is that thou which is oppressed will get the most points. You guys don't have thou that has the best idea wins. And because of that, you guys have an elevation of like, hey, we're just going to have a small subset of a minoritarian hectoring hall monitor assistant principal vibe of people telling you that you're not allowed to say these words and you can't say that. And we call that political correctness, which in and of itself is hyper-authoritarian. So if you seek to understand why young men are rebelling, it's like, no, I'm not going to go along with this anymore.
Period. And the rebellion, man, we've been crushing. We've been crushing on college campuses. We've been crushing in high schools. It's the most rebellious thing that you can do right now. Love God, love country, love your family. Try not to have babies out of wedlock. Get married. What a rebel. 2025 has been lit so far. I actually, listen, I watched the whole episode. I liked it for a lot of reasons. None of them were Gavin Newsom. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got a traffic update for you this weekend. This is going to be regarding construction downtown. It's going to close a portion of the loop. TDOT crew is going to be working under the 12th South Avenue Bridge over I-40. Both the I-40 westbound and I-65 northbound lanes will be closed starting at 8 o'clock tonight through 5 o'clock Monday morning. Got the full forecast in 2 minutes. Tell you how the weekend's going to be. President Trump is threatening Russia for its relentless pounding of Ukraine. Karen Travers at the White House says Trump's considering sanctions and tariff actions until a ceasefire and peace agreement is reached.
Russia is one of the most sanctioned countries around the world. The Biden administration has put sanctions on Russia over the last 3 years because of the war in Ukraine. So it's not clear what they could actually do in terms of increasing sanctions or what tariffs they could do because of the low imports that the United States does with Russia.
Space Force says an unmanned space plane sent into Earth's orbit in late 2023 is back. Landing at California's Vandenberg Space Force Base overnight, went about 20,000 miles above the planet's surface for 434 days with no crew. A news release says the craft accomplished a range of test and experimentation objectives. Elsewhere on Earth today, Jim Ryan says the February jobs report's good but not great.
The economy extended a streak of job growth to 50 months, adding 151,000 positions in February. That's higher than the January figure, but below what economists were anticipating. The report showed a loss of 10,000 federal government jobs, but it's based on surveys conducted right before President Trump's Department of Government Efficiency fired thousands of workers.
Alexis Christoforous says the healthcare industry once again led hiring.
We saw some strength in financial services, also in
transportation and warehousing. We did lose 10,000 federal jobs, federal workers last month. But, this report doesn't give us a full picture of the unemployment report. The data is collected mid-February.
A new scam is slithering through cyberspace looking for well-intentioned victims trying to help out a friend. The posting from your Facebook friend starts out, "My father's going into assisted living and no longer needs these items." It then has images of furniture, appliances, even cars for sale at a discount. Before you buy any of it, run the pictures through a Google image search. Chances are that the images, the items, and the entire posting are fake. Daylight saving time starts Sunday when we spring ahead and lose an hour of sleep. The time shift reigniting the debate over whether to do away with the changing of the clocks. Sleep expert and neurologist Dr. Chris Winter says the seasonal time changes should be abolished in favor of a fixed national year-round standard time.
What do you say to those who love those brighter evenings and think daylight saving time helps their mood?
Yeah, I love tequila and French fries, but that doesn't make them the healthiest option on the menu when I go to the restaurant.
That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:06, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Find me offline or online, off air. My handle on Twitter, True Social, and Instagram. All of them are the same, at Chris Hand on air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. Appreciate you guys engaging with the show, however you may be doing it, whether it's on the text line, the phone lines, or the chat over on Super Talk TV on YouTube. Hit like and subscribe if you are there. Steve is on the road. He's been holding for a minute. He wants to talk about Democrat leaders, or I guess the lack thereof. Who do you think is the leader of the Democrat Party today, Steve?
Yeah, well, let me just say first who I think, and then let me explain why real quick.
I'm going to go with Chucky Gargamel Schumer, and
the guy that puts cheese on raw meat before he cooks it on the grill.
Oh, this dude, he's one of the heads of the deep state, man. I can just, he's so fake and phony, but he's actually the one that's been, he's like the kingmaker, right, at the end of the table, because so we got the midterms coming up. You mentioned that. So who is going to emerge? We know Hakeem Jeffries is the minority leader right now, and I don't know how close it is. I know it's very close in the Senate. That's what we're going to have to worry about. Looking at the House, I don't think they can win the midterms. I think we have too much of a majority in the House. Now, I think this also is going to depend on our Trump policies and how fast we can get the inflation down. I think that's going to have a big fact, because that's where they're going to be punching. They're going to be hitting us on inflation. They're going to be hitting us on things like this Ukraine stuff. They're always going to be complaining about DOGE. DOGE can be effective even if they win the House, but
see, I think them complaining about DOGE plays right into our favor. All you have to do is highlight the insane things that we're spending money on, similar to the campaign ad that Trump used against Kamala Harris about using taxpayer monies to pay for illegal alien and prisoners' transgender sex surgeries. You could do a lot of ads the exact same way with just about every single Democrat who speaks out, whether they're in the House or the Senate. They speak out against DOGE, and then you just list the most radical things that DOGE has discovered. And then you play another clip of them speaking out against DOGE. A lot of people are saying that hey, as long as the economy's doing better, we're going to be good in the midterms. Right. I'm of the opinion that I think even if the economy was to get a little bit worse, I think that we could win the midterms and grow our majority in the House, grow our majority in the Senate, just by focusing on cultural issues. I think we're winning in so many facets of America right now that I think the economy, it would have to be Great Depression era kind of an economy for us to lose in the midterms, personally.
Yes. Yeah, so I think they've lost the race card, so that's unplayable.
Yep.
But when you're talking about, I know what we're looking for. Who is going to emerge as the potential presidential candidate? I think we will not know that until after the midterms. But we need to stay focused on these midterms. I know Trump, I love everything Trump is doing. It's going really fast. There's a lot of stuff happening. I think it should slow down a little bit, and we should spend more time focusing on defeating the Dems in the House and definitely defeating the Dems in the Senate, because they can do a lot of harm to us, and they can slow us way down if they happen to win one of those two branches in the midterm. So we can get all this done. We just don't have to rush into it and get it done so rapidly up front. We can knock it out on the back end and keep it in motion as we go. We need to let them destroy themselves. But yes, I think Chucky Gargamel Schumer is pretty much, in my eyes as of right now, he's pretty much the what all the Democrats are kind of looking up to.
Yeah, and you may be right. He may be the de facto leader, Steve. I just don't know what that really means. He may currently be that top guy, but do you think Jasmine Crockett really has a bunch of respect for Chucky Schumer? Do you think AOC wouldn't whip out a knife and get him in the back the first moment, the first opportunity she had? I think a lot of these Democrats would. And I don't know if you could say the same about Pelosi back when she kind of had the power strings there. I think everybody's a little bit too nervous to go up against her. I don't think Schumer makes anybody nervous. But again, hey, we'll find out. I don't want to be one of those guys that says the Democrat Party is dead and declare the death. March 2025, the Democrat Party is over. I think we are getting way too ahead of ourselves. Now is not the time to take the foot off the gas. Now is not the time to be complacent. But we also shouldn't be interrupting our enemies when they make mistakes. We shouldn't. They're making a lot of mistakes. A lot. I think we need to stay the course, do everything we can to get prices down, do everything we can to get the economy roaring. But I do believe, even if the economy just maintains status quo, if the economy gets even a little bit worse, I think that we could still win and grow our majority in the House, grow our majority in the Senate. Again, focusing on those cultural issues, those 80-20 issues, the men and women's sports, the books in the libraries, the transgender surgeries for minors. I think that every Democrat out there has put out such an intense volume of just wild, insane rhetoric that the ads against them are going to write themselves. And I don't know, as far as the meme warfare goes online, we've been dominating. It's like throw in the towel. These guys are cooked. They're absolutely cooked. Kim in the borough, you're next on Super Talk. You want to talk about increased prices? What's up, Kim?
Hey, I just wanted to say it just bugs me. Everyone on the left and the right talk about increased prices and the tariffs are going to increase prices. But where have they been, especially the left, obviously, the last 4 years with Biden or whoever was in, I mean, they've calculated it's $4,000 more per family or per person, I'm not sure, but $4,000 more under Biden the last 4 years. And Trump just took office. The tariffs are just now starting. They start and they put them on hold. So you can't complain about increased prices in January and February. He just took office.
Yeah, and a lot of the increased prices that they're going after is the eggs, right? They'll say, eggs are $10 for a dozen eggs, and it's like, yeah, but we also we have to understand that they killed a bunch of chickens on the way out the door, a bunch. If you look at some other items, the average price of milk has come down a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? Like we're starting to see it. The main thing that we need to do is get energy production up, and then that's going to ripple through the economy as quick as anything.
Exactly. And I also wanted to say, I saw this morning on News Channel 5, Facebook, they said something about fake news with Trump, about the transgender mice and $8 million that went towards that. Like, didn't we establish yesterday that CNN had to pull that back and apologize, so to speak, for reporting?
Yep.
Because that was true news. And here, News Channel 5 is still putting out that's fake news.
Yep. This is what we get. But no, you're absolutely right. And I appreciate your call, Kim. But Scott Jennings called CNN out for that. He brought that up to Van Jones, and this is, of course they did, right? Van Jones says, "Oh, that's not true. That's not true. It was a different kind of mice. They weren't really transgender mice." And Scott Jennings is like, no, this network had to fact check itself by calling that fake news. And it's maybe one of the better moments on CNN in a while. And of course, it includes Scott Jennings, who's single-handedly saving that network.
How about the real thing?
No, look, my point is, listen, they weren't talking about trans.
Don't defend the mice.
No. Listen, you don't want to talk about it? We don't talk about it. But it wasn't transgender. It was a different term that was misinterpreted as transgender. They were actually doing basic medical experiments on mice to figure out.
Don't spoil a good troll.
It's just not true.
Jennings is having a good troll. Don't spoil it. Here's the point. They have found some things.
Yes.
And the greatest public relations advice I could give them is this. You found stuff. Yeah. You're going to find more stuff. And there's going to come a point where you could take this to the Congress and have a really good hearing and a really good public display. That is the next iteration.
For the record, this is not a.
Yeah, you could do this all in front of everybody, in front of all the American people. Now, listen, what DOGE is finding could lead to some criminal charges. We reported yesterday that the acting administrator over at USAID, he's definitely contemplating referring criminal charges to the DOJ for some USAID employees and some grant recipients. I definitely think we need accountability in those areas, especially if we want to stamp this down on the American public that this is very, very real. I think a congressional hearing would be fantastic just to firm it up. This is real. Even my mother and father-in-law, they're in town for a few days, and I love them. But they're not. I wouldn't say they're liberal, but they're not. They're retired. They're not paying attention to the news every day. And they said to me, "It's like, are some of these things are these real things that Trump was listing last night at that speech?" And it's like, yeah, it's all real. It's all real. And even when CNN tries to fact check him on the transgender mice that he brought up, it's real. CNN has to fact check the fact check.
And later this week, I will also take historic action to dramatically expand production of critical minerals and rare earths here in the.
Oh no, that's the wrong clip. This is the clip.
I have created the brand new Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. Perhaps you've heard of it. Perhaps.
And then he goes on about sedentary migrants. He's like, nobody knows what that is. And he said, oh, we got all this money for Lesotho. Nobody knows where it is. And it's like he was doing a roast. But he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Donald Trump, we're waiting for him to speak at the White House. And we'll jump into that live when it does start happening. But he did take some questions yesterday. He had a big signing of some executive orders in the Oval Office. He announced a Bitcoin reserve. Which is cool. I'll be honest with you. I am not the crypto bro that you need me to be. I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. And I'm happy to admit to you that I am not, I'm not the biggest crypto guy. So maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's not. The price of Bitcoin did go down after he announced it. But there were more interesting things happening inside the Oval Office yesterday when Trump was signing executive orders. More interesting questions from the press. One of which came up was about, the assassination attempts and the report that Trump should be releasing.
It's been 7 months. Why do you think we don't know more about the guy who shot you in the ear?
Yeah, and the second one with all of his cell phones. So I want to find the answers. I've told them. In fact, today I said, I want to find, we can no longer blame Biden for that one. He should have released that a long time ago. So they are giving me a report next week sometime, and I do believe I'll be releasing. I want to release the report. A lot of people have asked that question. You had one who had 3 apps, 2 of which were foreign, supposedly, and who has the biggest white shoe law firm in Pennsylvania, even though they don't live in necessarily a white shoe area. What's that all about? His law, the law firm. The other one had 7 or 6 cell phones, and I don't have 6 cell phones. And why would somebody have 6 cell phones? So we're going to be releasing a report on that soon, Peter.
Listen, I'm looking forward to the report. They said it could be out next week. I'm more curious about Thomas Matthew Crook's lack of a social media footprint. Those are some questions I want answered. The reports of a just almost creepy sterilized apartment, no silverware. I want some answers to that. And with the other assassin, Ryan Routh, I'd love to get some more information on his connections to Ukraine. That's interesting. The Ukrainian connection. Both of these stories just got memory hold quicker than a Las Vegas hotel shooting on a concert, right? It was wild. Within 2 days, it's like we weren't allowed to talk about it anymore. The media stopped asking questions. Ryan Routh. The Mar-a-Lago golf, or it wasn't Mar-a-Lago, but it was the golf course shooter. He was getting people signed up to go to Ukraine to fight in that conflict. It's a little sketchy, isn't it? I think we should get some more answers on that. Hopefully we find them in the report. Trump says the report is coming out next week.
But based on what you're saying right there, the lack of information and the data points that you just gave, does that make you think that there's some there's some bigger...
It could be. Well, it makes other people think that. It makes me think it a little bit too. I say, when you have 3 apps and 2 of them are foreign, and you had an FBI that wouldn't report on it, they didn't want to say why, I would say that could be suspicious. And then on the second assassin, you had, and by the way, I have to tell you, Secret Service did a great job on that by spotting him. But on the second one, he had 6 cell phones. That's a lot of cell phones. And a couple of them had some strange markings on them. So, yeah, I want to find out, and I would be willing to release it. I mean, maybe there's a reason that we shouldn't, so I don't want to get too far ahead of my skis, but yeah, I would be very willing to release that. I'd like to see it. I want to see it myself, Peter. Not only you, I want to see that one.
He wants to see it himself. He said they're going to give him a report next week sometime, and he wants to release the report. I think there's quite a few Americans that would want to see that report as well. Hopefully it doesn't come in the form of a binder with all of the information redacted. It's 11:22 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Chris Hand here for my friends at United Structural Systems, USS. You know these guys very well because they've been in Middle Tennessee for a very long time. Doing business since 1994, and they have got themselves 30,000 satisfied customers over that time frame. Well, how do they do that? Well, I mean, first, they're experts in what they do. When it comes to waterproofing, foundation repair, concrete leveling, these guys are the best. Secondly, when they come to your home, they don't have a problem telling you if it's nothing. I mean, I think that wins a lot of people over. They don't have a problem telling you if it's a big thing either, and they don't have a problem telling you if it's something, that should be fixed, because if it doesn't get fixed, it's going to turn into something big. But you're not going to get a sales guy who's trying to upsell you on the next big thing. No. You're going to get somebody that lives in your community, that is honest and completely understands how the homeowner operates, and nobody wants to pay for things that they don't need. Well, you get that peace of mind with USS. And when they do a job for you, when they leave behind a warranty that is good for life. Even if you leave the home, the warranty can stay. That's how these guys have gotten so many satisfied customers. It's that confidence in the work that they do. You can have confidence in it as well. USS, they always do their best. Give them a call today, 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, USSTN.com.
This Southwest flight couldn't believe what they... It was so shocking. Passengers on this Southwest flight couldn't believe... Lots of news about space exploration this week. We just had 2 moon landings, one good, the other bad. I'll tell you about them and other top stories at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Did we have a moon landing, Ken Weaver? Did they make a phone call from the moon while they did it?
I don't know, man. I think scientists might have been on the bottom side of the Earth.
Was this ship made out of tinfoil you could poke your finger through too, Ken Weaver? I don't know. That's like one of my favorite things to do. I love that troll. Who was I talking to? It was Murphy. I was talking to Murphy at the event at the Nashville Palace, which was awesome. And he's like, It's like, oh, you used to make me so mad when you would say birds aren't real. I'm like, that's the goal, right? Like that's the goal of a good troll, right?
Oh yeah, that was good.
Birds are fake. Birds aren't real.
Some of them could be fake. You don't know.
We never went to the moon.
Wait, the only way we can find out is to catch every bird.
That's it. You know what I tell my kids?
bird.
You know what I tell my kids at the beach? I've done this with every kid. It's always so fun.
Yeah.
I say, if you can catch one, you can keep them. Really? Yeah, dude, catch one.
One of my favorite videos I've seen with seagulls on the beach is a bunch of kids took some like fries, poured laxatives all over them, and then threw them on the beach.
Yes, I've seen that as well.
And so the birds ate up all the fries and whatnot, and then we're just letting it loose everywhere on the beach.
It's awful.
Wild.
See, that could be problematic because sometimes they like to hover over you.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like you could get charged with like a biological attack doing something
easily.
like that.
That's biological warfare.
That's
its finest.
That's biological warfare. People are worried about the biolabs in Ukraine. Well, we have kids on the beach in New Jersey doing something very, very nasty as well. Welcome to the Jersey Shore. Oh, yeah. I don't know. The moon landing.
Brother Chris Hand, the master troller.
All right, listen. How do we know dinosaurs roared? Who was around? Who was around to make, we don't know. Dinosaurs could have meowed.
Oh.
They could have clucked like a chicken.
Sabretooth might have meowed.
He might have. Aren't we the predators because they found a saber-toothed tiger fossil underneath Bridgestone?
Something like that.
Yeah, I don't believe that either. Some knucklehead put that there. Some marketing genius. Let's be honest. It was a marketing genius. They know what we should do.
It was actually a mammoth tusk.
Oh, it was a tusk?
I don't know, man.
Oh.
It was just a weirdly shaped rock. That kind of looks like a saber-toothed tiger.
Oh.
Bill, what are you talking about? That's just a rock.
Oh.
Well, what else don't we like?
What was it that? There was something else you were on, man, and I can't.
I don't know. There's a lot of them.
Government controls the weather.
The government controls the weather.
Yeah.
It's another big one.
HARP. Everybody's heard of HARP. That's true.
Yep.
That's true.
What are some other? See, I love the bird one because every time I see them all sitting on telephone wires, they're all recharging.
Well, I mean,
That's
I've got to tell you, ever since Brother Chris brought it up, that is the first thing I think about when I see one.
It's like those are drones.
But there's actual video. So here's what they did during the Cold War. First, they wanted to put microphones on cats.
Yeah,
and then that didn't work because the old adage of herding cats. And then they thought, well, let's take this dead bird and we'll hollow him out and put a robot in there. And somebody said, that's brilliant. Get that guy a raise, and they did.
That could actually work.
They've done it. You can literally find the videos online.
Just think about think about how pigeons like to just sit on window ledges.
Yep.
Just land a drone pigeon.
The ones that sit on power lines, they're just charging, right?
I'm just saying. I think I've seen robins flying around with green and red lights on their wings. I'm just saying.
Yep.
All drones.
Whenever I say something especially risque, I look left and right for the birds. All right.
Am I listening this time?
Feds got me.
I'll send my steroid hamsters after them.
Yes. It's 11:31 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Almost said top shoulder. That's because I'm talking about traffic right now. We've got a crash. It is on the right shoulder, but you got to get over for it because it is causing a backup due to people trying to get over. It's going to be I-40 westbound right before Old Hickory Boulevard at exit 221B. Lots of news about space exploration this week. SpaceX Starship rocket exploded, the company's second in a number of months. A Space Force space plane launched late in 2023 successfully returned this morning after more than 400 days and about 20,000 miles above Earth's surface doing tests. We have one successful moon mission and one that failed this week. A robotic lander built by the company Firefly Aerospace touched down successfully, but the batteries on a dishwasher-sized spaceship built by Intuitive Machines dubbed Athena landed on its side and about 820 feet from its mark. Ended up inside a crater. The spacecraft launched February 26 was supposed to spend about a week on the moon looking for signs of water. The world's second largest financial exchange wants to offer trading around the clock in the second half of 2026. Here's Brian Clark.
Money never sleeps, and it won't have a chance to rest if the NASDAQ goes forward, implementing 24-hour trading 5 days a week. The major New York exchange says it's taking steps towards that goal because of more international investment. In a letter, NASDAQ's president said this move does require careful and deliberate planning and notes that corporate issuers, the large companies selling shares of stock, have been more hesitant about that plan.
That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Thank you, Ken. 33 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Got a text here. Somebody said, the truest statement Ken Weaver ever said. There's something else you were on, brother Chris. We'll have some fun with this. We'll have some fun with this in the next break. I want you guys to call in and tell me a conspiracy theory that you believe in. 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. What's a conspiracy theory you believe in? Before we get to your phone calls on that, I got to tell you about my friends at the Glock store. We love the Glock store. We're so lucky to have the Glock store here in Nashville. There's a reason why Glocks are the most popular handgun in America. It's how much you can customize and put on performance parts. Let's be perfectly honest. Competition triggers, night sights, extended controls, magwells, red dot optics. I could go on and on and on. There's too many to list. But rest assured, if it's for a Glock, well, they're going to have it for you at the Glock store. And you can either buy it online at glockstore.com or if you're in the area, you should go to the retail showroom in Nashville, because if the Glock store is open for business, they got a gunsmith on duty always. Like you can guarantee that. And whatever performance parts or customization you purchase at the Glock store, well, they'll install it for you for free while you wait. Now you may be like, what? Is that? Yeah. They'll install it for free while you wait. There's a lot of reasons like the Glock store. The free parts installation, that's just one of them. I know you'll find a lot to like about the Glock store when you go there. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. Tell them Chris Hand said hi, and if you're not in the area to go to the Glock store, you can always visit them online, glockstore.com.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
38 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Friday on the Chris Hand Show. We're just kind of having a little bit of fun. The news has just been insane. We can't do news all the time. So shout out to my friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You know why you need them.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
That's a conspiracy theory I believe in. You talk about atrazine. What conspiracy theories do you believe in? 615-737-9986. We were joking about the moon. We were joking about dinosaurs.
Joking?
Well, yeah, depending on who you ask.
Allegedly.
I just don't think they could have done the phone call from the moon. I just don't buy that. I don't.
You don't think radio waves or whatever they're using back then travel that far?
Well, I can't, I don't know. I don't have the knowledge to prove that they did it. I don't have the knowledge to prove that they didn't.
That's fair.
But
I definitely don't.
But I love the faking, the reasoning behind why they would fake the moon landing.
Yeah.
Because you're in a Cold War with Russia. It's a battle for power. At least I can wrap my head around that.
Yeah.
I can't wrap my head around Nixon being on a corded phone talking to somebody on the moon. I just can't. And then we lost all the technology. Isn't that an amazing
thing?
thing?
Landline on the moon.
Isn't that an amazing thing? What conspiracy theories do you believe in? 615-737-9986. We're just going to have some fun as we close out this Friday on the Chris Hand Show before Brian Wilson takes over. Jeff in Hendersonville, give me your conspiracy theory.
Gay frogs. Oh, man, that's rich.
It's true.
Okay.
It's true. The atrazine in the water. No, bro, hold on. We'll get to your conspiracy theory in a second. But this is not even a conspiracy theory. This is a conspiracy fact. The atrazine in the water, this chemical that was being released into the water, was affecting the frogs in such a way that the male frogs were becoming fully femalized and then carrying eggs and stuff like that.
Wow. Well, you know what a gay horse eats, right?
What's that? I don't know. I'm going to have to fact check you on that. I'm going to have to fact check that.
All right. Here's my conspiracy. Let's get serious because this is serious business, right?
Yep.
All right. I think Johnson had a hand in getting Kennedy whacked. I'll send no American boy to go fight in Vietnam. And Kennedy was pulling our advisors out of Vietnam. He was listening. They were telling him, hey, look, this is Civil War. There's no upside here. We got to go. Let him do his thing. And he was doing it. And then with a few months later, he gets whacked, and then we're full court press by 65. I don't know, man. To me, that one just holds water. I'll leave it at you guys.
But do you think that's on the shoulders of Johnson, like the vice president's pulling the strings, or do you think that's the CIA that JFK was also trying to dismantle at the time and on their shoulders, and then Johnson is just kind of like the guy who's going along to get along?
No, because apparently Lady Bird's family had some transport companies. I don't know. I think Johnson was in on the plan, and they're like, hey, this is going to happen. Get ready, and here's the move ahead for Southeast Asia. Here's how it's going to happen.
But you said he's in on the plan. So I think there's a difference between being in on the plan and being the guy that made the plan.
Well, there you got me there. Now, pardon me. Now I got to think more about it.
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate the call. Jerry in Goodlettsville, what do you got, man?
What's going on, my man? How you doing?
Good. Give me a conspiracy theory that you believe in.
There's a bunch of them, but I'll tell you one that's relevant right now. You know, DOGE is making all these cuts, and people's like, well, why'd they give $2 million for circumcisions? Well, that's because the weirdos on the left use that for medicine. They take the foreskin and make skin medicine out of it, skin cream, and that's a fact, Jack.
Yeah, no, I've heard that.
So people are like, why would they spend that much? It's because the weirdo elites doing that. And I also would like to put up, everyone's about a conspiracy theory. If you look into it and you actually do your research, I put $1,000 for any of you talk. Charlie Kirk said it's masculine. You have to debate. You have to, without the facts or without looking at info. Anybody can debate me and beat me, I give $1,000. I donate it to WWTN. The earth is flat. That's a fact, Jack. The earth is flat.
Give me. No. Hold on. Don't go, Jerry.
Okay.
Why is the earth flat? Why is the earth flat, Jerry?
I don't know why it's flat. I just know that the Antarctic Treaty is the biggest treaty we've ever seen. We can't go near Antarctica. They started on Hitler when he went down there, and all of a sudden we can't go. Water.
I love the Antarctica Treaty. We can't agree on anything, but every country in the world is like, nobody's allowed in Antarctica.
And that's because there's shit down there they don't ever want us to know, and that fuels the space industry. That's why I don't like Elon Musk, because that's one area. I'll get Trump tatted on my forehead, but Elon Musk and the elite are lying about the shape of the earth we live on. And I know it's crazy, people, but before you get mad and talk shit about stuff about me.
Hey, can you dump that? Dump that.
Stuff. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Hey, that's not.
I'm not. No. I'm not. Listen. I'm not mad. You're not hurting my feelings. But do you go as far as hollow Earth entry in Antarctica and then the pyramids in Antarctica?
I can only go into like the facts. Now, if we wasn't told that the Earth and the Moon and the Sun was moving around us, and we sit out in the field, we would see that it moves. We're not moving. Everything else is moving. Constellations stay the same. The Earth, the Moon, and the Sun's the same size. You don't ever see none of these thousands of satellites passing the Moon at night. You don't see them, period. They ain't falling one ever. Come on now. There's so much space junk. That's one thing they lying about us. And God made this earth. It's an architect to it, buddy. But anyways, them Democrats is cutting them PPs off to put blush on their face. When are we going to label the Democrats a terrorist organization? That's what needs to happen. The Democrats need to be a terrorist organization just like ICE, because they don't say nothing nice. All they do is divide. Some guns need to be took out. Hey, thank you, Chris. I'll be listening, bro.
Appreciate it, Jerry. You know he's not wrong about the foreskin cream. You know that, right? Like, that's actually factual.
It still makes me uncomfortable every time I hear it.
Oh, it makes me very uncomfortable. So we're anti-circumcision in my household. No, thank you. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it to the boys.
It's like that, and then you hear, isn't there bat poop and mascara?
Yeah. There's nasty stuff, dude.
Why would you do that?
Nasty stuff.
Why would you do that?
Jen in Franklin's got a good conspiracy theory. What's a conspiracy theory you believe in, Jen?
Well, I think that I would love if they could declassify the information on FDR's knowing about Japanese bombing Pearl Harbor. It's just the reading I've done. It's so obvious that they were aware. We had broken the codes, and yet we broke both the diplomatic and the naval codes, and they were all the way back in D.C. knowing that. And they never told Admiral Kimmel or General Short on Pearl Harbor. They were never giving them the update because they wanted the Japanese to attack. So they
and didn't they move out some pretty big ships in advance of the attack?
Every Sunday, the 3 aircraft carriers were always there, and that was Yamamoto's goal, to get the carriers. And suspiciously, the carriers were all put on different routes off of Pearl. One went to Wake, one went back to Midway. And the other thing is, while Admiral Halsey was out with the USS Enterprise, he issued Battle Order Number 1. This was December 6th. Issued Battle Order Number 1. If they saw any Japanese vessel of any type, the orders were to shoot on sight. So he already knew. So I think there's a lot. I would love those. I'd love those files to be declassified. It's 80 years now. I think we need to know the truth about FDR.
I'm here for it, man, and I appreciate the call. Let's go to Robert in Columbia. Robert, what's a conspiracy theory you believe in, Rob?
Hey, Chris Ann, I love the haircut, matter of fact. Hey, the conspiracy theory I have is the Twin Towers. I think it was an inside job. If you looked on the implosion, slow, real implosion, I think the United States government has something to do with the Twin Towers collapse.
So, all right. So, like, I love entertaining the 9/11 stuff. That was like I was in 8th grade when it happened, and I think that was when I kind of jarred me as a kid, and I started paying attention to politics. Do you think that they were in on destroying the Twin Towers? Do you think that they knew it was coming, similar to our last caller talking about Pearl Harbor, and they kind of just looked the other way, or where do you land?
I say they knew about it and they had it planned, to be honest with you.
They knew about it and they had it planned, so it was the U.S. government that planned it?
Yes.
See, I don't know if the U.S. government planned it. You could definitely talk me into the U.S. government had advanced knowledge and didn't shut it down. I could see that because I mean, you look at the devastation that was after the fact and the justification to get into wars. I think you could make that argument, but I don't know, man.
But the implosion, if you looked at slow reels, they had multiple weeks to plan this out. So
What do you mean, like the little squibs that come out of the window beforehand?
Yes.
Yeah, but when you have all that pressure, and I'm not a construction expert, and I'm playing devil's advocate. Like I probably would go the other way if I was talking with somebody that didn't believe in it. But if you have all that pressure coming from the top, like it's going to be, the pressure's going to build. It's going to blow out some windows along the way.
Right.
You know.
I see what you're saying.
But listen, hey. 3 buildings, 2 planes. Like I think that there's definitely some questions when it comes to 9/11.
Right. All right, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah, no, and then 9/11. I mean, you go into all the media conspiracy theories on 9/11, where like it showed up in The Simpsons, and it showed up in 9/11, and it showed up in Back to the Future, like that stuff. I mean, it gets weird. It gets weird really, really fast. I don't know. Like they'll say, "Oh, they got to let you know what their plan is, otherwise they get bad karma." Have you read that online? I've read that online. I go down some rabbit holes.
Really?
So
I didn't know about that about you.
No, so this is what they say on the internet. They say they got to reveal their plan, or they get negative karma.
Well, it's on the internet. It must be true.
But if they reveal their plan, well, then they get away with it. So that's why they do it all in the media. And I don't know. I don't know. My biggest thing about 9/11 that I have the biggest issue with is like in the 80s, we were funding Osama bin Laden to fight the Russians, and we were saying that he was a freedom fighter. And we're like, woo, look at this guy. He's awesome. And then, the land of unintended consequences, years later, we're dealing with Osama bin Laden again. Was he the mastermind? Was he the fall guy? I have no idea. I don't have that kind of security clearance. But it's fun to have these kind of conversations. I love a good conspiracy theory. And every good conspiracy theory, there's parts of it that make you go, that's interesting. Every single one. The Pearl Harbor, all the big ships were out. 9/11, it was some weird stuff in all the media leading up to it. Or the Gulf of Tonkin incident. Remember that? That got us into Vietnam. So we got attacked. We got attacked in the Gulf of Tonkin, except we didn't. It never happened. So like lying to get us into war, looking the other way to get us into war, I don't think that's a conspiracy that the government wouldn't have a problem doing that. We've all read Operation Northwoods. Like I don't think they have any issue giving it a little nudge to get us into war on some level. I can't prove anything one way or the other. It's fun to discuss, though. It's 11:51. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 56 minutes past the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Brian Wilson joining us from bucolic Watertown. What's up, Brian?
It's another exciting day, Friday, wrapping up the week. And Donald Trump is, as we speak now, they're playing out the comments he had from the Oval Office, and he's all over the place. But I mean, everything he says is making news right now. It's
I
really
know.
something. Yeah,
It's unbelievable. Hey, real quick, Brian, what's a conspiracy theory that you believe in?
You know, I was listening to that, and you know, I'm sort of a guy who doesn't believe in a lot of that stuff. I guess the thing that I come closest to believing is that we haven't been told all the truth about UFOs. I don't believe we have. I believe there's a bigger story there. I think we are getting closer every day to getting more of the truth about that, and perhaps during the Trump administration we'll get it. But I believe they're real. And I believe the government is keeping a lot of information from us on that regard.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I truly believe that.
I'm more of a space demons over aliens kind of guy myself.
Well, I'm telling you, I mean, the things that we have seen recently in that regard are truly eye-popping. I mean, some of these videos that have leaked out and are verified as things that our military have seen. I look at that and I go, man, I'm telling you, I have a hard time not believing some of these pilots who come back with these incredible stories.
Oh yeah, and they're all similar, and then you'll see the videos and stuff like that. It is wild, and it's just crazy where we are currently in history, where they'll break news and they'll show you these UFOs, and everybody goes meh. But if it was 10, 15 years ago, everybody would have lost their mind.
Yeah. I think we're getting closer and closer to finding out what that may all be about, and it's my hope that Trump, you know, if he's going to bring out the JFK tapes and the JFK documents, and I think we should have that, and there's some real questions about all that, to be sure.
Well, they got the website set up, archives.gov/research/JFK.
But the big dump has not really come yet.
No.
And I think it's coming, and I think if he's going to do that, let's do UFOs next.
Anna Paulina Luna said that she was under the impression that there was a second shooter with JFK. Where are you at on JFK?
Well, I have walked Dealey Plaza, and I have looked at it, and to me, a lot of the questions that they have about that are regard with how good a shot was Oswald, and then there for a long time there was there's a missing bullet. There's a missing bullet. They found the missing bullet.
Did they?
It hit a traffic sign. And they didn't notice it. And the traffic sign's no longer there, taken down years ago, but it was never noticed. But if you look at some of the pictures, you can clearly see there's a bullet hole in the traffic sign that was taken that nobody ever noticed at the time.
That's wild.
Yeah, isn't it something?
Where are you putting the focus on the show today, Brian?
Well, a lot of dims and disarray. We'll play out a little of the sound that just came from the Oval, and Trump is still holding court. You know how these things go. You go in there for a little quick question and answer, and it turns into an hour-long press conference. Right. So we're trying to keep tabs on all of that stuff. So that's straight ahead on the on the Chad Benson show. Sorry.
Perfect.
Old habits hard to break.
Hey, man, it is a drive-by with Brian Wilson. Looking forward to it. Who do you think is currently the leader of the Democrat Party?
I don't think there is one, and I'm not convinced that Gavin Newsom is their answer. But I think that, and that's what I'm really talking about. Dims and disarray. They really don't have a plan. They're just flailing around.
Yep.
And we'll talk about that a lot coming up in the next hour.
Yeah, we love to see them flail. Don't interrupt them while they're making a mistake. Brian Wilson in next for Chad Benson. We got a drive-by coming through.